on the cocaine possession charge and $1,000 for driving while intoxicated. Trick, who just started his morning show with Queen Trina on 99 Jams this new year, is said to be bailed out of jail and appeared at the chicken restaurant that he you can't make this shit up, at the chicken restaurant that he owns. So I'm assuming that he'll be back on the air for you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. But someone please either cut Trick's hair or do something. You know what I found interesting? Not the fact that Trick would have alcohol or would be drunk, but the cocaine thing. Trick Daddy, because Trick loves the kids. Trick, you out here doing this cocaine still? Damn, brother. I don't know why. I just find that, like, I'm surprised by it. I didn't know that Trick was a cokehead. But I guess you can't put too much past a lot of these celebrities. Last but not least in the celebrity hijinks stories, so Oprah is stepping down from producing the documentary, the Me Too movement documentary, which was slated to highlight the case of, or the cases against, Russell Simmons. Oprah has officially stepped down from being the executive producer. Along with stepping down from the documentary, Deadline is reporting that the documentary is also being pulled from Apple TV distribution. In a statement, Oprah said, "I've decided that I will no longer be executive producer, excuse me, on the Apple TV Plus documentary, Untitled. Currently, first and foremost, I want it to be known that I unequivocally believe and support the women. Their stories deserve to be told and heard. In my opinion, there's more work to be done." She went on to say, more work to be done on the film to illuminate the full scope of what the victims endured, and it has become clear that the filmmakers and I are not aligned in the creative vision. She also added that Kirby Dick and Amy Ziering, the producers and filmmakers behind the documentary, that she has a great respect for their mission. But given the filmmakers' desire to premiere at the Sundance Film Festival next month, Oprah grew wide criticism when she announced that she would be a part of the documentary. Celebrities like 50 Cent took to his Instagram to voice his disdain with Oprah's involvement in the documentary. But he has since pulled back. He posted this on Instagram, I believe yesterday. It said, all right, Oprah, we love you. Thank you for responding. And if you ever need me for anything, I'm here. All right. So much for that. So I guess Oprah will not be taking part. You guys just, damn, y'all niggas is good. Y'all done shamed Oprah out of doing the documentary. Listen, here's what I believe. I believe that Hollywood is a murky business. And I believe that Oprah, on the judgment of not just the community, but I believe that she might have been strong-armed against not doing the documentary. Because let's be honest with you, it's not like there's a lack of victims out there saying that Russell Simmons acted sexually inappropriate against them. I think that what is interesting to note is that I've never seen Oprah back away from anything. I mean, she did the Michael Jackson documentary. And this was much to the chagrin of not only fans, but the Jackson family and estate. So I just find it very interesting that of all the things that she would not do and would back away from, it would be this Russell Simmons documentary. Now, we talked about this here on the show in the past. This documentary will be premiered at the Sundance Film Festival. But however, it will not be streamed on Apple Plus TV as it was earlier reported. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. I just think it's super wild that like all of a sudden Oprah is not doing this documentary anymore, but I guess we'll see what happens. So you know what? We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to set the table for patience. I thought that was apropos for a day that I made you wait for this show. We'll be right back. And we are back. So this week I wanted to, as we always do and as we have been doing, we've been setting the table for a lot of things. And I'm always open to any suggestions that you guys may feel like you want to set the table for. But this week, I wanted to set the table for patience. Now, patience is something that I struggle with. I am a very impatient person, but I have been trying to work on it, trying to allow for there to be some space between my thoughts, my mouth, my thoughts, my actions, and how fast I expect things to happen. Patience pretty much gets a bad rap, and it does get a bad rap for all the wrong reasons. Too many people, when you say have patience, it feels unreasonable and inhibiting, like an unfair stalling of like hopes and aspirations or some sort of like hang up or hangover or something. And I don't know, I've always felt like I think my impatience was a learned behavior. I think that even as a child, the people who were around me, were always encouraging me to hurry up, move faster, do this quicker. And it just, them prompting me to move faster because of their own impatience allowed me to develop a learned behavior of impatience, if you will. If you consider it, I'm presenting patience as a form of like a learned behavior or lack of compassion or something that you need reattuning to. Like, it's almost like a way to emotionally redeem your center in a world filled with frustration is to find patience, Patience, you need to take a step back. You got to regroup. Instead of aggressively reacting or hastily giving up on something or someone who's frustrating you. And for a lot of us, if we were never taught that it's okay to put space between our actions, sometimes like even think about it, even when someone is texting, right? And if you have an iPhone, you know what I'm about to say. When someone is even texting you, right? And you respond back and you don't see that bubble pop up. You like, what the fuck? Like, I know you see me talking to you. It develops a level of frustration in you, like a hastiness in you, that you're unable to really invest any meaningful time in not only your thought processes and your actions, but your relationships, your dreams, your hopes, your planning. It's almost like you're not liberated from the breath between you and a particular situation. That frustration prevents emotional freedom, whether or not you know it. I learned from my therapist that expressing frustrations in an effort to resolve them is healthy, but it must be done from a non-irritable, non-hostile, non-impatient place. Now, I'm also struck by the fact that every world religion sees patience as a way to get to know God. Now, for me, that gives me the incentive to really practice the intentionality of my patience. And hopefully it will do the same for you. See, when you get frustrated because you're impatient, your focus is on the external. Patience requires that you draw inward. You're drawing from inward towards a greater, higher understanding and wisdom. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to misinterpret the idea of, or not even misinterpret. I don't want the idea of how important patience is to be lost in just kind of these anecdotes that I may say. You know what I mean? I mean, for me, patience is a delay in gratification. And intuitively, when you are delaying gratification, it intuitively doesn't even feel right. But you have to realize that if something is worth working on, it's worth waiting for. I'm going to say that one more time. If something is worth working on, it's worth waiting for. If I were to define patience as an active state, a choice, if you will, it means you're waiting your turn, knowing your turn will in fact come. And that could be attributed to anything. You ever been working on a dream, working on a plan so hard, and you're working and you're working and you're working and you're like, when is it going to be my time? How come everybody around me is popping off? What's up with that? But that's not only an act of patience, that's also an act of faith. Knowing that your time will eventually come. Once you've gone all out toward a goal, it entails trusting the flow, knowing when to let the soup, the proverbial soup, boil, if you will. For those of you who cook, there is something about the simmering process. You know? I don't care what you're cooking. There is a moment in time where you just have to let the pot do what it does. You can't like constantly be, because then at that point, you're not cooking, you're prepping. You can't like just constantly keep spinning and turning and you know, trying to make you move and sticking it and, you know, beating it with the fork. You have to know that sometimes it's not that God's answer is no, it's just that it's not right now. If I could give any insight towards any therapy that I've had and experienced with, in regards to patience, I can have the sharpest intuition. But if I share everything at the wrong moment, it could actually serve to do damage. And what I mean by that is, if I just vomited out everything that I felt when I was meeting with my therapist, all that would do is go in one ear, out the other. It would just kind of do more bad than good. Even in a world of how we communicate with each other, there has to be a level of enormous patience there, or else there's an impeding on the actual communication. If you're never taking a moment to just listen, listen, patience doesn't make you a doormat or unable to set boundaries with people. What I've learned is that it actually lets you intuitively into a situation to get more loving, to get more understanding, to get more truth from a situation, so you can determine what the right action is. Patience is a gift